All right, let's look at the markets. So I missed out on the Friday video, post-market close, but we had a nice day. Essentially, the markets went up. The dollar was sort of sideways down. Rates were sideways down. We had that kind of a day for once. And therefore, there was some reprieve. And, gold, silver, and the miners kept on going up. Commodities generally had a decent day. So let's take a look. So we start off with the S&P, and this is quite impressive stuff. So obviously you had this massive sort of reversal engulfing what I call the Gandalf candle, you shall not pass, in the S&P, which indicated we wanted to go a bit higher. I mean, I thought maybe we would trace a little bit, then go higher, but it's sort of signaled that, we're not done going up. And look at this, we just instantly straight out of the gates opened above this descending. And you know what, let me just delete these trend lines here for now. They're actually null and void at this point. So we opened higher and closed right at, actually, yeah, I put this in last time, this resistance point. So this, and you can see why it was the sort of double bottom from before. This is really zoomed in short-term stuff, but one candle, two candle indicating double bottom, and then we opened below that and we started to flush below that. So this line here, we basically closed at that line and it was high of day. So this also suggests we're not done, but I really doubt that we're going to have another candle like this taking us to the next, and it would sort of be around here, let's say this zone. We're not going there, I'm sorry. I expect a bit of what I thought would happen here, some sideways down, will happen, and I'm going to say will happen straight away on Monday. We're going to have a bit of a retracement. We're not just going to open above this and keep going, forget it. So I expect a bit of sideways action, and by sideways I mean sideways down, but still very impressive. And we can see now that when we go back down again, because we will, the low obviously is the low here. And you may even say it's actually here because this was another double bottom, just like here. It's just, okay, we opened lower, but I mean, look at this massive reversal candle. So to me, the sort of the real line in the sand is actually here. But okay, if you want to be very extra technical, it would be the low of this day, obviously on Thursday. So I think we've got these sort of horizontal lines in place. We don't need any more descending lines. This one is now null and void. It's played its part, a bit like, the one over here that I got rid of. It's no longer relevant anymore. I mean, you could draw one here, but I'm just not going to draw any. We have enough horizontal ones actually as it stands, and I don't think there's a clear ascending line anymore. The only other one I can imagine drawing is this one here, but I don't think that's going to be relevant. Although actually, if we start moving up this, I think you'll have resistance here before you hit this horizontal, because this is ridiculous, making a massive move up from here in 3 days all the way there. I mean, I know it can be done 5%, but I just don't see it happening. So, I'll leave this one in, but I don't even think we're going to venture up too much more. Next week, actually, I think we'll go sideways because we need to test this low again and we need to break it, and we will break it. That's my opinion. So that's the S&P, very strong, closed the high of day at resistance. But despite that, I still think we're going to go lower straight away next week. Nasdaq, exact same thing, slightly different trend lines. So, same thing. I covered that already in that video that I did. I think it was Thursday or Friday morning, I think it was. But, same thing. We opened straight above the descending, kept on going, closed a high of day. There's no obvious trend line. This one I'm going to delete. Doesn't really count, especially now. There's a small gap there. Obviously, we have the sort of high around this range here before the all-time high, if I can call it that. I'm not too sure. This is now irrelevant, this descending. You know what? I'm not going to, when it's not clear, don't have one. It makes the picture clearer. I still think we're going to go sideways. So I think we're going to go sideways. And I think where the horizontal line could have been maybe is there before, but we closed above that. So I'm going to leave it quite clean, this Nasdaq. Nasdaq will probably just drift sideways. I'm going to leave it like this for now. I think it's clearer. I suppose you do have one descending just like the S&P that I drew here like this. And yeah, if we venture high, we probably start to hit this zone, gap zone, which coincides with the descending. So actually, now that I've drawn that, I think it becomes a little clearer for me where resistance would be around there, if that makes sense. But I think it's quite useful for me to just draw them in front of you like this, sort of from scratch, no rehearsal. You just see the way I see it. But anyway, that's what I see. And that's pretty similar to the S&P. But again, I don't expect it to keep going up. I think it's already done quite a lot of movement up, and we need to come back down maybe to this zone. So I do still think we'll have a bit of a retracement. on Monday. Dow Jones, it obviously makes sense that they all sort of look similar. That one already had a little doji reversal on Wednesday. That's the one difference. But otherwise, reversal on that Thursday, and then Friday again close a higher day. And yes, I think here in this case, there's no descending. I mean, there's no point in drawing this. And I think it would just be the sort of prior support really zoomed in, let's say around here. There's no point in drawing that, I'm just going to leave it as it is. I think this will also retrace maybe a little less than the Nasdaq and the S&P because I think it's done a little less, and maybe just to about here, this basically the white line, because that was resistance and that will become support. I think it'll be a small reversal on Monday, nothing crazy. I need to see if there's any news actually, but yeah, a small reversal on the Dow. The Dow hasn't really moved down or up too much recently. Don't know if the volumes come out of it, but compared to the S&P and Nasdaq, it's just sort of, it went down less and it went up a little less also, I feel. Russell, that was sort of the stronger of the indices. Whilst everything was going down, it was sort of holding its own, but still had a strong reversal Thursday, this sort of double bottom, very nice. And then of course, this Friday closed near high of day and outside of this descending line. So next resistance on the way up to me would be around here. I don't think we're going to do it. I think we'll have a small reversal also, maybe back down to this zone here, the white line. So, very impressive sort of reversal. I don't think it changes anything. I think we're going to go back down, although not in one go. I think we'll go back down, up a little bit. So to draw that, we sort of back down, back up, back down, bounce. Something. I still think we're going lower. I think we're going lower. I think we have to go lower. So, nice little final hurrah at the low here, but we're still going back down. I don't think this push up here is real. I think it was a head fake and it will continue to be. So, nice, impressive little rally, but still, it won't change anything in the grand scheme of things. The VIX not covering it. It's just annoying how, look, the VIX should be, it should be much higher than it is, to be honest. So I'm not going to give it any time anymore. Let's look at rates. Rates, it was a sideways / down day. Nothing really in terms of the 1 year is very, very strong. So it hardly comes down much. If we're going to go back down just a little bit, but then I think we just keep going up. So really just sideways, not even sideways down. It just didn't go up, basically, the 1 year. The 2 year just going sideways down after already making new highs, closing at new highs. You can see this big tail here. So what do I expect? Some sideways, nothing special. I don't even think it'll go back down to this area, actually. Something like this, and then, higher. Obviously, it won't take this long. It'll probably happen straight away. But sideways down, 5 years, sideways down, same sort of pattern. 10 years, same thing. This one, it might as well come back down and retest this, what will then be support. 30 years probably below. Yeah, so that just popped its head above, now there. Do I need to draw the ascending a bit higher? Maybe. I should really go zoom out to see, make sure it's touching the bottoms there, but I need to make these lines a little thinner. But otherwise, I just see this as, again, like the others, down a bit and then back up. I don't even think it will hit the ascending support, but maybe it does, whatever. But, higher rates are going up. EU finally going down for a little bit. Maybe it touches here, but with the inflation numbers that have come out of Europe, rates need to go up. So I really think any pullback is going to be bought. So I don't even think it will venture below this trend line. I think it'll just touch it and go up. Really that simple. I'm not going to look at too many others. They'll all follow the same sort of pattern. Let's look at the dollar. Yeah, I haven't gotten rid of my old annotations here, but okay, here I was covering both possibilities. And I'm going to go with sideways up. So yeah, here I remember I was covering the possibility that it could go lower. This is what it would look like if it did, but I'm going to delete those because I don't think it's going to happen. I think I'll just stick to what I drew here, which is sideways up, just like rates, sideways up. Will we actually see it go lower? Not to redraw what I've deleted, but it could go a little lower, and I think it would bounce above this trend line and then go up. So, it was a sideways day, and that's also what helped the markets go up. But again, I think it's going to reverse and then go back up, the dollar and rates. And therefore, it also explains why I think the markets will reverse and go down. Let's look at commodities. And we'll start with copper. Copper is really the hardest chart for me to decipher. And I don't want to draw too many trend lines because I'll draw this one anyway because it seems to make sense at this point. But I'm not going to say where I think it's going to go for once. A lot of people never say where they think things are going to go, but I usually do. But in my case here, copper, I just prefer to avoid forcing myself to make a comment. If I had to, I would say down because I think rates and the dollar will go up, and copper is a bit sensitive to that. So, although I've heard a lot of podcasts recently, and I'm very, very bullish commodities, very bullish. This is my favorite sector. It's been like that for a while, especially now. But I think copper might just be the most best. It'd probably end up being the best performing commodity in the next couple of years. I mean, there's a lot to choose from. You have all those base metals. You have gas, oil. Gold, silver, uranium. You have loads to choose from. But copper, conductor of electricity and all this green projects going around, and just generally copper might just be the best one. So long term, I'm very bullish copper, but short term with yields and the dollar and also the chart here, there's a lot of rejection here at the top, but still it's such choppy, rare sort of candles going on here. So let's just see. I might just say sideways to down, but the walls are getting closer and closer. So at one point we'll have a bit of a breakout or breakdown. Natural gas, absolutely delicious stuff. Strong. I mean, this breakout here, I really liked it. And then when it came back down, I was saying, look, it's a buy. Just get a bit disciplined, space out your buys, buy above 2. I didn't buy. I can't buy ETFs here in Europe, and I'm already in a stock which actually wasn't going down when this was going down. And to be honest, since it's popped, my Trillium energy stock hasn't gone up. So it's a shame I haven't been able to play this, but I think it's beautiful. I think anyone who bought gas, even at 4, you're going to make money. And you probably bought on the way down also. And again, I think I was saying 3.5, 3, 2.5, space it out. But at this point, you're probably back in the money already. And I saw a lot of charts out there, and, typical after already a huge move. What is this, like 40% or something? After a huge move, now people are saying, oh, look at gas. It looks good, But anyway, I mean, if you buy it now, I guess it's better than my first buy, my theoretical paper buy. But still, where I think it's going, yeah, where this is, I think we're going to go to 4. Not in one go. We could have a bit of retracement. We probably should have a retracement back to this. I mean, we closed a high of day here. It looks like but look at that, 8%, beautiful stuff. So, we could have a small retracement, but I do think we're going up, really. So anyway, well done anyone who's in gas. I think it's amazing. And I really need to look for an ETF for gas. I should have looked for some London Stock Exchange that's outside of the periphery of the EU, actually. I could have, I was thinking about it the other day. I thought, no, I could have. So if it does retrace, I'll actually probably start to buy my first gas ETF if I can find it. I need to look that up after this video. Oil. Yes, I remember we drew these ascending and descending trend lines, and you can see how this one really worked. In my opinion, it worked. It's like, oil looks like the S&P, looks like gas also. They kind of very similar charts, closing at high of day, but I see resistance here. Obviously, I drew this line. So you could have a small sort of tail here, a little topping pattern, just sort of, I don't think it'll be intraday. I think it'll be daily. It might last 1 or 2 days. And then next zone is up here. Very obvious to me. I don't think this zone here counts, actually, 83. I think once we cross this sort of 80, and we close just below 80, that's also a psychological number. But once we cross this area and start to venture into the 82s, this area, I think a lot of people are going to start asking themselves whether it's time to test the 90s. And again, I'm more bullish. I mean, even though I recognize it's possible that it comes back down here, and this is a good buy, I think we may start to venture higher. Is it the wall that's starting to hit the wires? I'm not sure. Also, there was that talk of the UAE leaving the cartel. there's so much news every day that at the end of the day, you're better off just watching the chart because everything is priced in. This is just, a reflection of thousands of stories happening locally, globally. Everything is priced into the charts. And if it's not, it will be by the next day. So just read the charts, you'll be fine. But yeah, I'm still bullish, and I think we've got some selling pressure up here, but otherwise it's medium term. I think we're going to the 90s. Gold and silver. So I was thinking that 45 might be resistance. To be honest, it wasn't, because wait, let me just check the 15-minute chart. I guess it kind of was intraday a little bit. You can see a little chop here, but then all of a sudden, bam, we break out of 50. So was it 50 or was it 45? Probably 50 was resistance, you could say, actually. A little psychological number, acting more resistance than a technical area. But, here we are. We closed above 50, 1855. Looks good. I think next resistance is around here. I've already drawn the trend line. Little target is there just in case. So 1870. I think 1870. Honestly, if we get there, I'm selling more. I'm selling more of what I bought. So if you remember, I was buying the miners with gold at 1830 and gold at 1800. And I'll be selling the miners. I was selling it here at this 1850 zone. Also, just as we got to 1830. So when gold was 1830, I'm selling what I bought at 1800. And then with gold at 1850 and 1870, I'm selling the rest of what I bought at 1800 and 1830. And this is typical what I do. I'm just buying the drop, selling the pop, but keeping a core position at a certain value where I'm comfortable. And I have three different modes. I have light holding, medium holding, heavy holding, and obviously the weighting is a little different. But I'm basically accounting for short term, medium term, and long term investing in the sector, if that makes sense. I've always got a sort of short term trading, my long term hold, but I'm always holding positions. Anyway, point is, this drop, beautiful, played it quite nicely. The second drop here, all the way back down from 1870/1880, all the way down to 1800. Beautiful. Bought that and now selling the move up. And if we keep going up, which I don't think is going to happen, by the way, I think we'll have a sort of, oh, that was nice. Let's go back down, just like the markets, just like generally in commodities, just like I think the dollar and interest rates will go back up. I think gold will go back down just to test. Who knows? Maybe it holds, maybe it goes back up, and then we make new highs. That can happen. And I hope it kind of does, as long as I can buy this back. But what I think really is going to happen is we're going to go back down as the markets go back down, as the dollar and interest rates go back up. Well, obviously have a little bounce and then fail and then have the whole market crashing. And then gold will be outperforming despite going down, be outperforming the markets and all this, and the miners will be going down too. So, and then we'll see. I don't want to predict too much, but will we hold above here? Will we not make a low, a new low? Will we hold this area? I don't know, but I'll be selling this move. Let's just say for now, and I hope to buy back when it goes back down. But I do think that we will actually go lower than 1800. I think the dollar and yields will go higher still. And, that'll coincide with some Fed meeting, and maybe there'll be a bit of panic. And, we've seen people panic and sell everything, even gold and silver. So, but still for now, I think next week we go a little higher, and I think we will test 1870, and I'll be selling that zone in the miners. So silver, same thing. We'll go a little higher. I've noticed this descending line. Honestly, I will sell that. I'll just trim half of my last tranche of buying. And if we do go higher, because silver goes up more than gold, it's possible, definitely possible we go to 22. I'll sell that. And I think that once I'm at 22, everything I bought with gold at 1830, gold at 1800, everything I bought in the miners when the prices were there, I think I would have sold everything, which is typical for me. And that would have been a bounce of 7-8% in silver. In the miners, I might as well go to the miners now. In the miners, that would mean, a low of around here to a high of there. And that's what I was saying, 5 to 10%, I was saying. That's the GDX, the GDXJ. Yeah, definitely. If we have gold just going to 1870, silver 22, it'd be the same as the GDX going there. So that's what I think is going to happen. Everything's on track. And with the market going up, at least I benefit with my miners going up to the top of my range, which is 10%. So sell what I bought and then just hold what I had anyway. And hopefully it goes back down and I catch that. So that's just a quick video on what I think is happening. I'll make another quick video on other alternative holdings, including Bitcoin, because things are getting quite interesting there. I just thought I'd do a quick one here for just the usual sectors I cover. So hopefully that was useful. Thanks.